It is now 6 p.m. and the December 4th City Council meeting will now come to order. This evening's invocation is presented by Council Member Lloyd Roberts.
Thank you, Mayor. Bow your heads, please. Good evening, Heavenly Father. We are so blessed. We live in our beautiful city of Bel Air Beach, and not too many people can actually say that. But Father, I'm sure some of our citizens are going through some tough challenges this time of year. And I pray that they look to you for help and guidance, as we know your strength can help us get through our toughest times. Father, our city will always have difficult decisions and choices to evaluate. Help us, Father, to use the best resources and information available so that the decisions we make are decisions that make our city and community better. And Father, help us to remember that somehow it always seems when we talk to you first that we always seem to be a little bit smarter. Father, we know that this is a special time of the year. We often get caught up in the busyness of the Christmas season. I pray that everyone will take a moment to remember why we celebrate Christmas. And in doing so, Father, I pray that more of us will connect with you and make our world a much better place. I love you, Father. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Now would everyone please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, seeing how we are between city clerks at the moment, Mr. Riefler, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Frank Banker,
Present.
Councilmember Mark Chester,
Here.
Councilmember Leslie Notaro,
Here.
Councilmember Lloyd Roberts,
Here.
Vice Mayor Jody Shirley,
Here.
Mayor Dave Gaddis,
Here.
City Attorney Randy Mora.
Present. Thank you, Mr. Riefler. We'll move right on over to item number 1, which is approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion made is by Frank Banker. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'm going to give that one to Leslie Notaro. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the agenda is approved. Now we move on to citizens' comments. If any citizens would like to address the council about a topic not already on the agenda, please raise your hand and wait to be called on. We ask that you limit your time to no more than 3 minutes, and remember to direct all questions and comments to the council. If any council members would like to respond to citizens' comments, please hold your responses until we reach council comments. Same goes with the city manager and city attorney. If you would like to address the citizens' concerns, please wait until we get to your comment section. Would any citizens like to address the council about a topic that is not already on the agenda? Yes.
Hi, my name is Nicole Sussman, and I'm part of the Bel Air Beach Community Foundation. So just a few updates for you. The foundation is currently doing the groundwork to adopt Crossman Park as a memorial to our veterans. We are getting the final quotes and working on details of the complete layout. Our goals include the following: a new and much larger sign, American and memorial flags, new landscaping, and memorial benches. Donations to this worthwhile project would be greatly appreciated, or if you would like to donate a commemorative bench, please contact us. This is another update. The most recent brick order is being installed this Wednesday. Very exciting. We apologize for the delay. There was a supply chain issue with the actual brick for this order, but please stay tuned. It's gonna be awesome. Please save the date for September, February 17th. The foundation is having a musical bingo event. More details coming soon. We have business cards with our contact information on the table, and we appreciate your support. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Do we have any other citizens that would like to speak? All right, citizen comments are now closed. Now we're on to item 3, which is a presentation from the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, beginning with the monthly law enforcement report.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, manager, city attorney. My name is Sergeant Jolene Bowman, excuse me. I have the monthly stats for your city provided for the month of October. As far as the UCR property and person crimes, there was only one that was reported, and that was an assault. As far as year to date this year in 2023 October, the numbers are lower compared to October 2022 last year. So last year we had 25 at this time, and this year we're at 17. There were 8 people arrested within the city in the month of October. Half of those were on warrants. One was only a felony, and the other 3 were misdemeanors. There were a total of 571 events that occurred within the city, with 686 units responding to those events. The top 3 that included directed patrols, traffic stops, and house checks that accounted for about 66% of the 571 events. Happy to report there were no crashes within the city in October. And there were 139 citations and warnings that were issued. 109 were warning, 17 were traffic, 12 were parking, and 1 was a boating. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Sergeant. Council, any questions? Yes, Mr. Roberts.
On the assault, were there any details on that for the month of October? One assault, what was that
I
for?
don't have that, but I'd be more than happy to look that up for you, and I can get that to you.
Okay, great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments for the sergeant? No? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
All right, now we're on to the monthly code enforcement report. Deputy Klapka.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, staff, citizens, Deputy Klapka for the record. For the month of November, we had about 1/3 of my code enforcement violations that were dealing with grass overgrowth, which we have resolved a lot of those issues. Another 1/3 of it, again, is dealing with unpermitted remodels or any type of building. The rest of it was mainly some houses that needed to be repainted, which we've cleared those up. And then again, some of the other issues were trailers and boats parked in yards or up in driveways, which those have all been completed. If you'll notice that this is a short report, last month or in last of October, 1st of November, I was off for 2 weeks. And Danny Dougherty was going to stand in for me in case we had any problems. So that's my report, and I'll stand for any questions.
Council?
I don't know if this would be on your agenda or even the city managers, but I got Friday night, and I think I brought it to your attention one time. The junction boxes that they're doing for these underground lighting, or underground power, I mean. A lot of them, like at 6th Street, 7th Street, I think 7th Street might be closed, but like from 1st Street up to the Causeway. They're about a foot out above ground. They're 6 foot square. And there's no cover. And there's at least a 2 foot drop in there.
Yes, sir.
So I don't know. Who would we be addressing that to?
That would be the contractor that's actually doing that type of work.
Okay.
I've never gotten any complaints or asked any questions about it, but there's something we can,
Somebody put cones at the 6th Street one,
yes.
but there's,
And I think also down on 3rd, they put cones around that one too.
okay, but they should be covered up. Yeah, okay,
we can address that with the contractor. I do want to say it's been a pleasure working with you all. In case you don't know, I am being transferred. Actually, my first day was working down in Reddington, North Reddington Beach. That's going to be my new assignment for the rest of this week, and part of next week. I'll have the new deputy who's going to be out here. His name is Richard Trump. He's going to be taking over my duties here in Bel Air Shore and Bel Air Beach. So again, it's been a pleasure working with you all. And unfortunately, I'm being transferred. So if, like I said, if anything ever comes up, you still have my phone number. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions or concerns that we have.
I have one comment. You can tell Mayor Queen, we don't appreciate it.
I will do that.
I appreciate your good service and you've done us very well. I greatly appreciate it.
And again, I found out because I was on a 2-week cruise with my wife up in Canada when I got the phone call asking if I would accept this new position, and I told them that I would. So again, Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy New Year. If there's anything I can ever do for you, please don't hesitate to give me a call.
Thank you. Any other comments from the council? No? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been an
Have a
honor
good
to
evening.
work with you. All right, item 4, a presentation from the Pinellas Suncoast Fire and Rescue District by Chief Davidson.
Good evening, council members and community. Thank you very much for the tree lighting and the great food. Very nice that you had us here. You the monthly report for the month of November. We only had into Bel Air Beach 12 calls for emergency services for the month of November. We had 700 training hours, and we conducted 60 life safety inspections with our fire prevention division throughout the beaches. We have a meeting scheduled, another meeting scheduled on January 3rd. It's a question and answer session with the Church of the Isles. That's the property that we're moving forward with to purchase to build an additional fire station, which will better serve Bel Air Beach. And we also met with the county on that issue as well last week. And meeting again with them in the next couple of weeks about putting together mid-year funding for a peak time rescue unit. That would be, the idea is to have it on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Mondays during the holidays. As that station's being built, and then it would be full-time. And we would move the fire engine here, which would be, it's only a 2-minute drive to this building from where it's currently located. So it's going to really improve the response times to this area. So we'll continue to work on that. I'll be in Tallahassee for the legislative session, the week of January 8th. We have a state representative, Kimberly Burfield, who's sponsoring appropriations for us to rebuild our 53-year-old fire station at Windy Rocks Beach. So I'll let you know how that goes. I'm very positive on that. And then December 13th, we have a class. It's an internal class, but I want to extend the invitation. And we would like to be there. It's our insurance services organization. That's our ISO rating. And the class is we're going to be moving forward with getting the evaluation. And it's very extensive detail, but if you would like to stop by, it's going to be December 13th. It's at the Union Shores Town Hall. And we welcome you to come by, say hello, or sit for a class. It's eye-opening. You see a lot of things of why we do some of the things that we do. And then lastly, we say again, thank you for everything. And we hope you have a blessed, safe holiday season.
Thank you, Chief. Do we have any questions or comments for the fire chief? No. All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you and your guys have a nice holiday. All right, we are up to item number 5. This is a presentation, an award of distinguished service. Before I call this gentleman up, I'd like to tell you a little bit about him. This guy's been doing a lot for our community for a very long time. Roughly around 1999, he started committee work for the city of Bel Air Beach. He seems to think that it was code enforcement at that time, or code enforcement board. He was also chairman of the now dissolved Police Pension Board from 2002 to 2007. Then he went on to planning and zoning, and until recently was there the entire span. So that's a long time, just being on one board from 2007 to 2023 is something that I don't know of anyone that could say they've done that in Bel Air Beach. So at this time, what I would like to do is call James C. Enfeld, but he's told me not to call him that. So I'm going to call him JC and have him meet me at the podium. Just fine. Okay. Mr. Enfeld, in appreciation of your years of dedicated service and commitment, at least, if not this and so much more that you've done, I am recognizing you for the City of Bel Air Beach Planning and Zoning Board from 2007 to 2023. This award of distinguished service is well deserved, and I appreciate everything that you've done for our city. Thank you. There you go. We have to do the obligatory photo. Hold up here to, Okay, and he's asked that because no one else has gotten this award, he wants his family up here in this picture. Okay. Come on out. Hey, what do you want the picture? Yeah.
Might come up by me.
There we go.
There we are. Thanks, Kyle. You've been a big help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, I appreciate your service. It's entirely up to you. Oh, sure. Yeah.
I want to thank the city. And everybody should get involved. When I turned the bridge in a snowstorm and parked here and interviewed with the sheriff at that, or the deputy. And no, it wasn't a deputy, it was a police department. It was a safe city. I'd been in that field for years. And I don't know where the time went. I look at the mayors that I helped get elected that are around this room. I enjoyed that. And our new mayor's doing one heck of a job. God bless us all and the city of Bel Air Beach. And thank you.
All right, now we're on to item number 6, which is the city attorney report. Mr. Mora, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As it's been, as we've covered in our last few meetings, obviously a busy election season up ahead for this community. I want to first thank each and every one of you for your service to this community, as well as our volunteers and board members, and encourage anybody who is considering applying during the qualifying period, which is presently open, as I believe, is that correct, Kyle? During the presently open qualifying period, to consider running for office to serve on this council. I wish to remind you that we are now in December. If you can believe it, 2024 is around the corner. The joy that brings for us is another legislative session is around the corner. We're already beginning to monitor what's being filed in committee and the various committees before session begins. And of course, I will update you as I see any further preemptions coming down the road or any other legislation that may impact this community or your service directly. Other than that, I wish everybody a safe holiday season. I thank you for the opportunity to have served your community this year. It's been a pleasure working with you and your officials, whether they've retired or recently been hired or anything else. Thank you for the opportunity to work in this community.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Does anyone have any questions or comments for the city attorney? No? All right. And we're glad to have you on our team.
Absolutely.
All right, next up is the city manager's report. Mr. Riefler.
Thank you, Mayor. Starting off with the Golf Boulevard undergrounding project, Councilmember Bankard, you made mention of the possible risk of where the some of the equipment's going on the phase one portion of the project. So I'll get with the contractor to make sure we do something.
I really appreciate that.
They're still working on the planning and laying out phase two, which is the north of Causeway Boulevard section. I just got the Duke invoice today. That's the invoice that we delayed to this budget year back when we approved the project. So they got that to me, which is great because we'll pay it and move forward. The stormwater improvement project, we released that bid on November 8th. And we put it on the Demand Star e-procurement website. That blasts it out to a lot of the contractors that do that type of work in the area. Of the 20-something plan holders, I recognize about 10 potential contractors who downloaded plans. So hopefully we get a good turnout for the bids. The bid is due on December 13th, which is a Wednesday. We held a mandatory pre-bid meeting before the holiday. We offered it up on Zoom as well. We had a couple contractors attend with some questions. So we're moving forward with that. We are planning a work session on December 18th to have the pump company come in and do a presentation of what they can offer, and just something to think about moving forward in the future. So hopefully we can get a work session on the 18th. If we don't get a quorum, we're still going to have it open to the public for a meeting. The RFP for auditing services, we have a resolution we have to do tonight to appoint the audit selection committee. This is part of the statute requirement. Once we have that committee appointed, we will approve the evaluation process for the RFP before we release it. And then that committee will also rank the RFP auditing services of the companies that submit their proposals. And we also have the code review services. I issued the work authorization form for that project. Tentatively, we're looking to have an open meeting to the public to get input on the current city code on January 22nd. But I will announce that once that date is set. And we want to start off the project by opening it up to the community and of course council and the planning and zoning board to get the insight into areas of the code that the community feels need to be addressed. And we also have a Board of Adjustment hearing next week on Wednesday at 6. We have 3 different properties that have variances, applied for variances. We also have the work session I mentioned on the 18th, and then our city council meeting is going to be on January 8th, the Monday after the holiday. And if we do have an election from the qualifying period and we get enough candidates, we're going to have our city council candidates night put on by the League of Women Voters on January 10th. That's a Wednesday at 6 p.m. And then I'm not sure if it was mentioned, but we also have the 3rd annual health and wellness fair on January 13th, that's a Saturday, from 10:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And that's all I have for city manager report.
Did you roll that right into the city clerk
Yeah.
at the same time? Okay.
Yeah, so just real quick, qualifying is this week and it goes to Friday at noon is the cutoff. I have all the paperwork in my office for anyone who's interested to come in and see me. And we have our new city clerk starting Monday, December 11th.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
Can I ask you, have you had any packets picked up for qualifying?
I've given out 3.
Great.
Yes, Mr. Roberts.
Kyle, I was just curious, how many contractors attended the non-mandatory pre-bid meeting? Did anybody come in?
To attend.
Who came in? Okay.
Yep.
And you said 10 potential contractors downloaded the plans.
Yes.
I'm just curious about how many did that same step when we did 12th and 13th.
We did not put it on demand, so we only
Didn't put it
advertised
on,
it
okay,
in the paper and the website.
okay. So we had 2 contractors. Were you familiar with them or were they?
Yes, Ajax Paving and K&R, which did 12th and 13th.
Okay, excellent.
Any other questions or comments for the city manager? No. All right, thank you very much, Mr. Reefler.
Thank you.
Now we will move right over to the consent agenda, which is items 9 and 10. This is for approval of the November 6th, 2023 City Council meeting minutes and approval of the November 13th, 2023 special City Council meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the
Motion.
consent agenda as written and proposed.
All right, and do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the consent agenda passes. Now we are on to the regular agenda, item number 11. This is for consideration of resolution 2023-18 placed on the agenda by City Attorney Moore. Mr. Moore, would you please read this resolution?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is resolution 2023-18, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Bel Air Beach, Florida, establishing an auditor selection and oversight committee, providing for membership of the committee, providing for the identification of the chairperson, providing for duties and responsibilities of the committee, providing for meetings of the committee, and providing for an effective date. This has been a reading of resolution 2023-18 by title only, Mr. Mayor. And as much as I was asked to, or this is on the agenda as though presented by me, I was approached by the city manager and asked about the process for selecting the auditor for the coming year. For those of you who have been serving for that amount of time, you may recall a similar resolution from 2021 establishing an audit committee and reviewing that and the statutory language. It looked like there were some tweaks that were necessary. Chief among them, the statute requires that while a council member does serve on that committee, they must be the chair. And that's not how it was previously structured. And a few other little things just to make this clear. So this resolution largely parrots the language you would find in the statute. The duties and responsibilities set forth in section 3 are divided into 2 categories to capture the process for selecting the auditor and then the continuing engaged role of this subcommittee, which would be composed entirely of one of you and your CAC, your Citizens Advisory Committee. This was one of the contemplated functions of your Citizens Advisory Committee. So you would come together in that context, wearing that hat, and then providing continuing oversight. So that's the purpose of this resolution. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Before we take questions from the council, I'm going to go to the citizens. Would any citizen like to comment on this proposed resolution? Seeing as there are no takers on that, we'll bring it back to the council. I'm going to need a motion to approve this resolution. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion made by Frank Banker. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'm going to give that one to Vice Mayor Shirley. Mr. Banker, do you have the floor?
I believe Mr. Moore has explained it pretty well.
Thank you. Any other comments? No. All right. Well, let's take it to a vote. Mr. Reefler, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Frank Banker,
Yes.
Councilmember Mark Chester,
Yes.
Councilmember Leslie Notaro,
Yes.
Councilmember Lloyd Roberts,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Jody Shirley,
Aye.
Mayor Dave Gaddis.
Aye, so the resolution passes unanimously.
Thank you, Mayor. I do wish to add, though not specifically on the agenda, the resolution contemplates the appointment of a member to serve on the committee, a member from this body to serve on the committee and chair that committee. Recognizing some of you may not be with us come the new year. If you desire, I think it'd be most helpful to make that appointment now so that the committee can begin its business. But if not, we can do that at a later meeting. I wish to indulge the council as to how they wish to proceed.
Question, can that be done in a work session too?
We typically don't take official acts at work sessions. You're not going to see that in a statute, but by the way this body works and its rules of procedure, typically we do that. We take official acts at meetings, so we could, I don't know that a whole lot's going to happen between now and the January meeting if this board if the council desires to wait. But I did want to make sure you were aware of that option.
I would propose that we nominate someone at this meeting tonight. And I would like to nominate Leslie Notaro.
Second.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Any others?
I would propose that we wait only because we're gonna have at least one additional, possibly two additional members at the next meeting that may have some backgrounds that are very strong in that area. I am one that doesn't have a strong background in that area, but hopefully we'll have somebody in the accounting, auditing background and skill sets that might fit.
Council, what do you think?
I stay with Mr. Roberts' suggestion.
All right. Is that acceptable?
That's, I mean, I defer to Manager Reefler, but that's certainly acceptable. It's a legal course of action. It's really up to you. I don't know the administrative pressures, so I defer to Manager Reefler in that regard.
So the audit committee, the audit selection committee will need to meet just to approve the RFP before it goes out. Given it's the holidays, I don't know if we were to be able to get a meeting in December. So if we do it in the January meeting and appoint the chair off of council, that should work fine. And then we'll meet and release it.
Okay, yep, that sounds like a good idea. And what I would recommend if anyone changes their mind or they decide they would like to be on this committee, then please contact the city manager and put your name in the hat. All right. Now we will move on to item number 12. This is consideration of applicants to fill the vacant city council seat, which is to replace Belinda Livingstone. We have two candidates. We have one, which is Kimberly Shaw Elliott, and we have Michael Hayward. Kimberly Shaw is not here tonight. She is actually attending, or not attending, but she is with a very close long-term friend with a serious surgery. So she was unfortunately unable to make it. But
Mayor, she's on Zoom.
Oh, is she here?
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Ms.
Yes,
Elliott?
I am here. I was just able to unmute. Good
Okay.
afternoon.
All
Oh,
right,
good
all right.
evening. Excuse
So,
me.
what I was gonna do was let applicant introduce themselves to the council and let the council ask a few questions, and we'll just take them in the order that they're printed out. So while we have you online, and it sounds like we have a good clear connection, Kimberly Shaw Elliott, would you like to introduce yourself to the council?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and I appreciate this opportunity very much, and I'm honored to do so. I know many of you, so I'll give a little bit of an introduction to my background that you might not be aware of. One is I hope I offer a unique set of experiences here. Professionally, I've spent most of my entire career in the financial services industry. And what's unique about that is that I've done it as both an attorney and in other positions as an executive in financial services firms. So hopefully I can give reasonable legal advice, but come up with practical solutions and understanding what that means to implement that advice. Here, of course, we have the incredibly good services of Mr. Mora. But in terms of this role, hopefully I understand what it means when we enter into ordinances and have an idea of what the practical implications of those are. In those executive roles that I've served in, I have been accountable for managing very large budgets. I've been understand what it is to manage to a budget. I've engaged in strategic planning and being accountable for results. From a civic perspective, I have been previously on a planning commission, on a zoning board of appeals. I've been on a variety of different charitable boards and boards of professional organizations. Personally, I've moved to Bel Air Beach in 2015, which now seems like a significant period of time, but I still feel every day like I'm on vacation when I'm living there. So very pleased to be part of this community. I have had a lifelong love of the Florida. We traveled here as a family when I was a kid every year for Christmas time. So here I am, the opposite now, in the north during this holiday season. I tell you a little bit about that is that my dog, who is a good Florida girl, I took her outside this morning to the door. She literally stuck her nose out, turned around, ran back in the house, all the way upstairs and crawled into bed. So being the reverse snowbird is not exactly the wisest choice that I've made, but I hopefully you can appreciate why I'm here. I've had an acute interest in the environment, and with our beach community, I think we have a lot of pressures on us in this beautiful, beautiful place that we live, and that balance between how do we preserve that beauty and how do we protect our homes and how do we make a livable circumstance. So I'm happy to be part of the challenges to try to figure out those solutions as we look at our future. I recently semi-retired, and I'm actually considering full retirement probably in the near future. So with that, I'll have both the time and certainly the energy to meet the challenges of this wonderful community. So I have a great deal of appreciation for this opportunity. I thank you for the opportunity to talk to you today, and I welcome any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Ms. Elliott. Council, any questions for Ms. Elliott? Vice Mayor Shirley.
Yeah, hi, Kim. Good to see you.
You
Sorry,
too.
it's not the best circumstances for you. I hope your friend's okay. But
Thank you.
I have a couple questions. Have you picked up a packet for the qualifying for this upcoming election?
I have, and the interesting thing about that is that I thought that this would be kind of a short-term appointment if it's successful. But I did learn before I left that the opening period is now. So I completed that application and the petitions before I left and submitted them on Friday.
Okay, good, perfect. And are you currently serving on a committee? Am I correct in saying that? I'm not sure.
Yes, and forgive me, I'm blanking on the name of it. It's not the zoning board. What is the name of the?
Planning and zoning, is that what it is?
Yes, planning,
Okay.
yes,
Okay, thank you. I think that's all I had.
thank you.
Any other questions from the council? No? All right, thank you, Ms. Elliott. I appreciate you taking time to be with us this evening. Next up is Michael Hayward. Mr. Hayward, would you like to come up to the podium, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and city council members. I'm back. So I was taught that if you believe in something, you shouldn't give up. So I'm here again. I'm kind of sad Mr. Infeld left. I wanted to talk to him about it. Well, up here, he's actually my neighbor and like my next door neighbor, and he was there with me like growing up. He helped me out a lot, like when I got my security clearance and for my job at the State Department. And he helped me out when my mom was sick. And he doesn't know this. I wanted to tell him that, but like he would tell my mom about working for the city, and he did influence me a lot to like take action and to be a part of something and to like be involved. So I wanted to thank him, but he left. Anyway, to remind you guys like my background. I grew up here. I lived in the city for over 30 years. Like this is all I know. I went away for college and for other jobs, but I'm back. Right now, I don't have anything to keep me away from doing the city council job for the foreseeable future, at least all the way up until March when it expires. So I'm very available. Yeah, and my background, I went to school, political science, got a master's in international studies. So it's a big passion of mine to be a part of something bigger than me and to give back. And I appreciate you all for having me again.
Thank you, Mr. Hayward. Do we have any questions for Mr. Hayward?
I'm sorry, just to clarify, you were saying something ends in March?
Well, the next election.
Okay, I just want
Yeah.
to make sure, right, yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
And I picked up my packet of papers, so I'm filling all that out.
Good.
Mr. Hayward, what are you doing currently?
I work for a movie production company and I run movie productions in the area, but right now there's none, none going on, so.
I understand. All right. Any other questions or comments? No. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Hayward. Before we continue, I need to go to the citizens for comments. Would anyone like to comment about either of these candidates? No? All right. Citizen comments are now closed. I'm going to need a motion from the council to continue with this vacancy, filling this vacant seat. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Lloyd Roberts. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Leslie Natero. Mr. Roberts, you have the floor.
Yeah, once again, I think we're blessed that we have two candidates that there's no wrong answer here. I think they're both extremely qualified, and more importantly, I feel like they have their heart in wanting to work for our city. So that's wonderful. So we can go ahead and vote.
I'd like to
On the-
echo those comments, but I'm gonna go to,
On the question, we have one vote, we have one vacancy right now, another one coming up in less than 3 weeks. Why don't we just put both these people on tonight?
because if we did that tonight, we would not have properly posted the second vacant seat.
I believe 206C of our charter gives council full authority to do that.
I presume the silence and looks in my direction as a request. 2.06 certainly gives the council full direction to proceed as it desires in filling vacancies. The vacancy advertised this evening, or that is being heard this evening, was specifically advertised to fill the one position. If this council feels that it may yield additional candidates to fill, and for the sake of clarity, both in the record and what we're talking about here, you are presently filling the vacancy owing to Ms. Livingstone's resignation. In the interim, since marketing this position, it has been announced, at the risk of stealing any thunder, that Vice Mayor Shirley will resign from her position effective in the next few weeks before the end of the new year. I'm understanding Councilmember Bankert's question to say, well, if her resignation is forthcoming, should we put both these people in those vacancies with different effective dates? You would still have to decide tonight who fills this role so we can swear them in. There is no other role to be sworn in tonight, which is another procedural but complicating factor. as to how you proceed. Ultimately, it is your discretion as to how you proceed. I think both positions have good merit, which is we told people, we noticed that we would be filling one position tonight, not two. And somebody may have said, you know what, I wasn't really comfortable at that time. Maybe now I am, or otherwise, and you may be able to get others. But I understand Councilmember Bankert's position that we have two vacancies and two people. How do we wish to proceed? In this case, the charter states that you folks fill vacancies. I defer to you as to how you proceed. It is your city, your community.
My only point is that we're not doing anything underhanded, illegal or whatever. We have the right under 206C to fill a vacancy. We don't have to post it or advertise it.
I'm in the meantime, while you discuss or deliberate, I'm also verbally stalling while I get to read the precise language of the charter. But I would tell you that illegal is not really, as you said, a concern here.
Interrupt you. I just don't. You have two candidates. You have 3 months before this election cycle is over. We have a vacancy coming up. So it doesn't look like there's a favoritism or anything like that, or friends and family are going to be pulled into the next opening. You got two great candidates on the board here. And I don't think we're violating the charter at all. In fact, I think my motion is to follow the charter.
Right. And so the language of the charter and either course I would submit follows the charter, but the language of the charter, again, for clarity in the record, says filling of vacancies. A vacancy on the council shall be filled by a majority vote of the remaining members of the council. Any person appointed by council to fill a vacancy shall hold office until the next annual election, and it continues as to how we would proceed if there were less of you, et cetera. There is no statute specifically governing this because this is one of the remaining home rule powers we have. So this is a home rule decision in that sense of how do we proceed? And again, I tender it to you as a council as to how you proceed. I did not anticipate the inquiry, so my apologies, but that is ultimately your judgment. I would suggest, regardless, that you decide how you're going to fill the first vacancy, regardless.
All right, I've heard comments from Councilmember Bankert. I'd like to hear comments from other council members before I give my comments. Yes, Mr. Roberts.
So we currently have two candidates. It sounds like both candidates have already filled out the qualifying package for the election coming up in March, which is a good thing. However, the real question is, Randy, so if somebody, let's say we postponed it until the next meeting for the selection of the second opening, and that person had not qualified for the election in March, what issue would that cause, if any?
A great question. Thank you, Councilmember Roberts, for the question. And for the benefit of all, the question is it relevant at all how we fill this position relative to whether or not the person is qualified for the March 2023 election restated? No, you're really specifically concerned with just the bridging the gap, if you will, between whenever you make the appointment and the March election. You need not have qualified. In some communities, people are very adamant that they want anybody serving in an interim capacity to not be running. In other situations, people want to know there's the possibility of continuity. And that's, again, a personal decision that each of you make as you weigh who best to fill the position. But there's not any direct relationship or requirement between whether or not somebody opts to run in March and whether they are suitable, qualified, or et cetera, to serve between January and March.
Okay.
Other comments? Mr. Chester?
I'm just a little slow to change what we already had planned. I think Frank makes some good points, but I came here tonight ready to vote on this the way it was proposed, but
Okay. Leslie?
I'm of the opinion that we vote to replace one person tonight. We have one opening right now, so we vote one replacement.
Vice Mayor Shirley?
I would agree with what Leslie said. There's still opportunity that even if we, the qualifying period is not over until the 8th. I see that as a benefit that someone's taken the initiative to be interested in qualifying for the election because it is such a short period of time. Gives us kind of a view from a voter standpoint to see what a potential candidate might look like on council long range. But on our agenda, we have we came in tonight to vote for one person. There's currently one seat open. Even though in the future there'll be a second one, it's not open until the end of December, and I think we should stay the course.
And then my comment is, Vice Mayor Shirley is not out the door until she's out the door. She may get a voice in the middle of the night or something that it makes her change her mind and realize just how much she loves this community. So I'm not giving up on her yet. I would also, I know for a fact that there's several potential candidates who are still weighing in on the whole, do I have to do a full financial disclosure report? And I think that because they're already considering running, it would be a shame not to give them the opportunity to fill Vice Mayor Shirley's seat and at least know it's coming instead of having to kind of get blindsided by a hasty vote tonight. So I would prefer that we hold off and only handle one seat tonight. Mr. Bankert, I'll give you the last word.
I apologize for thinking outside the box.
All right, so that being said, we now need to decide on one candidate. Where are the ballots at?
One at each seat.
All right, before we actually vote, I have to go through a few things. I have some formal procedures here that I have to follow. But I am still looking for my ballot. Oh, got it. All right, it says the mayor has the duty to maintain firm control of the meeting, consistent with the provisions of the city charter, city code, and Robert's Rules of Order. The mayor shall announce that the audience must refrain from any outward display of approval or disapproval of any applicant. The mayor states that the seat being filled shall hold office until the next annual election in the city on March 19th, 2024. The mayor shall confirm with each applicant that they are a qualifying registered voter, which I'm about to do, qualifying physical resident, qualifying permanent resident, and qualified by civil rights. So let's take care of that one right now. Is Miss Elliott still online?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. So I'm going to ask you each one of these questions here. Are you a qualified registered voter?
Yes, sir.
Are you a qualified physical resident?
Yes, sir.
Are you a qualified permanent resident? Are you a permanent resident in Bel Air?
Yes, I live there permanently.
Okay. And are you qualified by civil rights?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, now let's go to Mr. Hayward. If you would, sir, just stand up for us and let's confirm this. So are you a qualified registered voter? All right. And are you a qualified physical resident? All right. Are you a qualified permanent resident? And are you qualified by civil rights? All right. Thank you very much. Let's see here. We've already done our presentations and let's see here. We've asked questions, so we've gotten past that. And I believe, oh, here we go. After the council has concluded, It's inquiry of the applicants. The floor shall be open to the public, which we've done. The clerk, Mr. Reefler, was the timekeeper. After the public addresses, council members shall vote by paper ballots with results announced that an applicant has attained a majority of the votes of the council members voting. The city manager shall announce the results. So everyone find your ballots and let's vote. Only pick one.
It's not even cold.
Okay. So Councilmember Frank Bankert selected Kimberly Shaw Elliott. Councilmember Mark Chester selected Kimberly Shaw Elliott. Councilmember Leslie Notaro selected Kimberly Shaw Elliott. Councilmember Lloyd Roberts selected Kimberly Shaw Elliott. Vice Mayor Jody Shirley selected Kimberly Shaw Elliott. And Mayor Dave Gaddis selected Kimberly Shaw Elliott. So that is 6.
Thank you, Mr. Reefler. So that's unanimous
Yes.
for Elliott. I'd like to thank Mr. Hayward for volunteering, and I'd like to welcome Miss Elliott to the council. Normally, we would call you forward to be sworn in. I believe that has to be done in person. Is that correct?
I think it'd be best if we did, given that there's no urgency and afford Ms. Shaw Elliott a little bit of the pomp and circumstance of being present for the moment as well. Unless the council feels otherwise, I think it'd be prudent.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Hayward, next month, we're doing it again, I'm sure. So I will see you at that meeting also. And congratulations, Kim Shaw Elliott. We look forward to working with you.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored to be part of this council and looking forward to working with each and every one of you and hopefully you too, Shirley.
Okay, so now we have to do a motion to appoint the applicant who has received at least 4 votes, which I believe we've already established that, but we have to do it formally. So I need a motion to appoint Kimberly Shaw Elliott to the council.
So moved.
Motion made by Leslie Notaro. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'll give that one to Mark Chester. We're going to have to take this to a vote. So Mr. Reefler, would you please do a roll call?
Councilmember Frank Bankert.
Yes.
Councilmember Mark Chester.
Yes.
Councilmember Leslie Notaro.
Yes.
Councilmember Lloyd Roberts.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Jody Shirley.
Aye.
Mayor Dave Gaddis.
Aye, and so it's unanimous and now it's official. Welcome to the council and we'll see you at swearing in.
Thanks very much.
Just for the record, did I get that right? Was that close enough? Okay, yeah, good. All right. And I would like to thank Ms. Notaro for the assist also. All right, now we are on to item number 13. This is to authorize the city manager to execute a purchase order for the replacement of the community meeting room carpet. He says he doesn't like the color. No, he didn't say that, but I just thought I'd throw that in there, you know. Mr. Reefler, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. So yes, this is to replace the carpet in this very room. This carpet's been here since the building was built. So it's been in use for about 13 plus years. Many public meetings and wedding and other party rentals have happened here. It's just over time taking its wear and tear. As you can see, it's starting to show. through fading and some stain. So given the amount of meetings and rentals that we do in this room, we've been saving to replace the carpet each year in our budget, and I found a quality carpet that I've included the quotation form, which is off of a Sourcewell quote, which is also a alternate contract source on the state's Department of Management Services website. It is a beryllium carpet shade. It has some tones of green, but overall it's a gray. Not so much of a defined pattern as what we have in here. But when the staff looked through all the samples, we thought that we wanted to catch the green undertones that this room has through its trim already. And we feel that this will, over time, not show stains as they come from the use. So like I said, I included the specifications and the sample. I've also laid out the sample, and I've emailed you guys pictures just to so you could see it in the room. But again, I'm asking that being that this is piggybacked or sorry, quoted off a Sourcewell contract that was on an RFP done by Sourcewell, that we move forward and approve this purchase, and the amount is going to be for $32,492.03. And both like I said, the material and the labor are quoted off of Sourcewell. So we satisfy our purchasing requirements, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Reefer. Before we bring this to the council, we need to go to the citizens for comments on this agenda item. Would anyone like to speak about the carpet? All right, citizen comments are now closed. I'm going to need a motion from the council. Would someone like to make a motion that we authorize the city manager to execute a purchase order?
So moved.
Motion made by Leslie Natero. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Roberts. Ms. Natero, you have the floor.
We'll leave it up to the city manager.
All right. Any other questions or comments? No? All right. Because this is a large expenditure, I'm going to ask that we do a roll call vote, just so that we're on record of spending some money.
Okay, Councilmember Frank Bankert.
Yes.
Councilmember Mark Chester.
Yes.
Councilmember Leslie Notaro.
Yes.
Councilmember Lloyd Roberts.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Jody Shirley.
Aye.
Mayor Dave Gaddis.
Aye. So it passes unanimously. Mr. Reefler, you are authorized to proceed.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we're up to item number 14, unfinished business. Do we have any unfinished business? Okay. In that case, we are now up to item number 15, which is city council comments. This month, we begin with Councilmember Bankert.
3 weeks from today, we'll be celebrating the birth of Christ. While his earthly father sought shelter the night of his birth, as the story goes, he was told there was no room. I hope and pray that all residents, they haven't brought Christ into their home, will this holiday season. Finally, Merry Christmas to all, and city manager, leave the lights on through January 6th.
Thank you, Mr. Bankert. All right, up next is Councilmember Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You know, I know there's been a lot of talk and discussion and wondering about the infamous Form 6 that we've been challenged to deal with. Something that's coming up, I believe it's Wednesday, the Florida League of Cities has established a Zoom meeting. And so I'm planning on definitely signing on to that. And really my message is, if there's, Mr. Mayor mentioned that there were several people that he's aware of that may be considering. I would highly recommend that if you're considering, which I hope, I would love to see like 25 people fill out packets to run for our positions. But if you're interested in running and you have some question or you're concerned about the Form 6, I would highly recommend, I'm sure anybody can get on the Florida League of Cities website and go ahead and sign up for that session that they're going to be presenting. I would also assume it's going to be a question and answer type environment, so we can all learn a little bit more about it. I kind of get a gut feel that there's so much discussion going on about this particular issue. And I kind of feel like a lot of us maybe, I think the state is marketing this very well, that they're causing scenarios, and I can't walk in anybody else's shoes, but I feel like they're causing uncomfortableness to anybody that's considering or is already in positions that are going to require the Form 6. So please take the opportunity, anybody that's interested in running for a position, to learn everything you can about it. And again, it's this Wednesday, and I think that would position everybody better to make a decision that they have more knowledge about and hopefully are more comfortable with. And Merry Christmas to everybody out there who's listening with the city, to our council, and everybody in the audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Up next is Council Member Chester.
Yeah, I would like to wish everybody a safe and happy holiday. To everyone out there in our little community, and to my fellow council members, mayor, and our two paid associates over there, them as well. And I want to second what Frank said. This is a great time to spend with family, but it's also a good time to remember why we celebrate what we are doing, and it's the birth of Christ. So
Thank you, Mr. Chester. Ms. Natero.
I'm gonna say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to fellow council members, to all the residents of Bel Air Beach. You all have a safe and wonderful holiday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor Shirley.
Well, I want to start by saying thank you all for the two candidates we had for the open seat. And I hope that you'll come back when we have more open seats, because I foresee that coming in the near future, as I have resigned my position on council due to the Form 6 requirements, this new law that has been put into place. And, you know, it takes away some rights to privacy as us as council members. Yes, we are elected officials, but there are some things that, you know, are between my husband and myself and not open to public. And my financial disclosure is one of those things that's just not open to the public. So especially given some of the history of the city and some of the lawsuits that are still open, it's an uneasy feeling. So I have chosen to resign, although I appreciate everyone's support and have been blessed to be able to serve our community, and hope to be able to still help out with the city on in other areas where it won't provide, where I won't have to provide that Form 6 disclosure. I want to say thank you to everyone for putting faith in me to support the city. Also, just Merry Christmas. I hope everyone has a blessed holiday season with their family, and get out and support our community whenever the opportunity is there. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Shirley. It's been an honor to work with you, and I think you're still committed to a work session. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay, so I won't say my final goodbyes, at least on the council, until then. I'd like to remind everyone here and at home that you are what makes Bel Air Beach the envy of Pinellas County. Despite the new rules that Tallahassee has thrust upon us, we still need talented and trustworthy candidates with a love for their city for this upcoming election. If you would like a seat on this council, please help us. Help us to keep Bel Air Beach, and pick up a packet from Kyle, a candidate's packet. And if you're seriously thinking about it, please as Mr. Roberts suggested, look into the Form 6 presentation. That's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Okay, and I appreciate you bringing that up. And other than that, I will say this. The way that I've calculated it right now, we're either going to have 5 or 3 seats that need to be filled in the next election. So it'll be 3 if it doesn't. We don't reduce the council, it'll be 5. That's a huge bill for Bel Air Beach, because normally it's 4 and 3, but we're asking for 5 people right now. So I just want to keep that in mind. This is a wonderful community that we live in. I think that we're all here because we love this city and we love our neighbors. And I'm hoping that there's others that are willing to put themselves out there to serve this great community and help keep it what it is. Other than that, I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn? Motion made by Frank Banker. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Roberts. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Good night, everyone.